this. You simply are gonna kill people because that's how you were born. And nurture means that maybe you were born as a normal person, but you were brought up wrong. That your parents were there. There was a lot of abuse and a lot of lack. Do you think that people who grow up to become murderers, does it have to do with nature or nurture? What do you think?
Nurture.
Nurture. What about the rest of you? Nature or nurture? We're talking about why people kill. Does it have to do with nature or nurture? What do the rest of you say? Manisa says nurture, meaning that when the person was brought up, there were certain situations in the home that caused it. What do the rest of you think? Do you think some people
Think
simply,
nurture.
yes, go ahead. You say
I
what?
believe I believe it is about nurture because
Sure.
it doesn't matter your who you are. It just matters where you are, how you are taught, and the things that you know. Everything depends on the way that you live. So if you are raised by people that kill and steal and don't have morals, then you're gonna be one of those people in the future.
Okay. So does any one of you believe this tendency or this scientific research that says that it's just that some people are born like that you're going to kill? Does anybody believe that?
No.
You don't think
It
people
can't,
are
it
just born
can't
like
because
that?
we are born not knowing. So when we are growing up, the way we act and the things that we like will be like the things that people around us like. You know, when it's it's the same when we have like toxic friends. If we have those kind of friends, we will be like them because we don't we don't find like we are so stressed out to be acceptable in society that we like get stressed like looking away through like a better life. But
Okay, so is it possible? Do you think it's possible? Like, okay, there. Let me put it like this: there are different stories of people who had a good childhood. Their parents loved them. The parents weren't killers. Everything was wonderful. People say, "Oh, she was such a sweet kid," and then this person grows up and kills her parents, for example. What happened there? Do you think that person had some type of biological little drop of some chemical missing? Or what was it that led a person to kill? Because I also agree with the part that nurture has a lot to do with it, how you were brought up. But what about these people who actually came from good families, who end up killing people, or the kids who kill their parents and the parents love them? What happened there? What's your explanation?
Maybe they like change their mind in the process between they are kids and they are adults, or maybe they saw something that I don't know that makes them feel like their life doesn't matter, or maybe they have a like a biological problem.
I think it's a temper. When they don't control their temper, like every normal human being who gets mad. But there's these people that get mad in a point that they could kill someone. Not necessarily they are sick or something. It's just like the temper. They
Okay,
don't control themselves.
so I like what Soto is saying, because then what happens, according to what Soto is saying, is that you're just a normal person, you were brought up properly, and then you got so angry that you killed somebody, but it wasn't your nature or your nurture. Is that what you're saying? Yes.
Depending on the circumstances. If
Okay.
I if I see someone strangling my mom, what's gonna be my reaction? Maybe kill him.
Okay, yeah, I get that. Okay, that makes sense. So then we cannot say that conclusively it's always about nature, it's always about nurture, or because there can be a combination of everything. Okay, So what about a person who is drunk? A really good person, good family, everything perfect, and this person got really drunk and killed somebody. Is that possible?
No, if they didn't have a
Yes, it's really
problem or
possible and very common.
It's possible and common, and she says no. And who else?
Yeah, because when
Yes,
people are drunk
possible.
and they are driving, they can kill a lot of people without even knowing or
Okay,
noticing.
okay. So this is what happened, ladies and gentlemen, in the last chapter of part 2. In the last chapter of part 2, it's precisely what happened, okay? As we had finished off before, these people, some friends of Raymond, invited Meursault to the beach, and Meursault went to the beach with the girl he doesn't love and doesn't want to marry, but she keeps hanging around, and Raymond. And when they were going to the beach, they saw across the street a group of Arabs that were looking at them. Now, remember that these Arabs were the probably family of the girl that Raymond had beat up. Okay, remember that. Okay, so they got to the beach. Everything is wonderful. The sun, it's beautiful. Everything. They get out of the beach and they go for lunch. Then they see these Arabs coming. And Meursault, Raymond, and the person that they went to visit, I think his name was something with an M, I don't remember, were walking on the beach. They saw the Arabs. There was a little fight. One of the Arabs took a knife, cut the guy on his face and on his arm. They took the guy to the hospital. When they got back to the house, of course, the women were like, oh, what happened? You know how women do. I don't even understand it. And then after that, Meursault decides to leave the house by himself with a gun in his hand. And the sun is hot, and he had a lot of wine for lunch, and the sun is hot, and the sun is hot, and he's getting a headache, and the sun is really hot, and the wine, and the sun, and then he takes up the gun and shoots one of the Arabs 5 times. Is that possible? Is that something that can happen? Yes? Are you nodding, or are you listening to some music and going like, what is it? Yes? Do you think it's possible?
Yes.
Explain that to me. Now, let me tell you a little detail. When he left the house, it was probably because he couldn't deal with with the 2 women in the house who were crying because the guy got cut. And you know, they were excited in a negative way because of what had happened. So he couldn't deal with that. And the gun he had in his hand was actually, I think it was Raymond's gun. And that when they went to see the Arabs the first time, Raymond gave him the gun and told him, hey, keep this for me. We don't want to get into trouble. So he leaves the house because he can't deal with the women crying and asking questions. And he had a whole lot of wine to drink during lunch. And the sun is hot. And he starts getting a headache. And he starts thinking about the day when he went to bury his mom and how horrible the sun was. And he keeps talking about how the sun is so hot, and his head is hurting him. Does that lead you to want to kill somebody? Yes? Come on, people. Tell me.
don't know.
Who answered?
Isabella.
Ah, here, Isabella. Isabella, I've been texting you and you're not answering. I'm really hurt.
I'm sorry, I don't have a signal.
What century are you living in?
It's not in my grandma's house.
Yeah, that's okay. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was saying I don't think that's possible. Like, just because the sun is hot and your head is hurting, that doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know, teacher. I can say that it's possible because we have to analyze the situation. He's thinking about when her mom died, his mom died, his mom died, and he's like, he started to like, se frustró.
Frustrated. He got frustrated.
He got frustrated, and he started like to think all the bad thing that was happening. And we have to know that he's the type of person that didn't care about anything of life.
Mm.
And I don't know, it's possible because he's like that. He is, I don't know, I know, I say that he think like I don't have anything to lose, and he did it.
Okay, Rebecca, tell me. Rebecca Serrano, you raised your hand. Talk to me.
Okay, I think that he, when he say like the son, he start to transfer his feelings to the way he feel with physically, I think. I don't know. So that's why he is very specified when he say, "Oh my God, the sun! I hate the sun," because he's trying to transfer his feelings into this because he don't know what is it.
Okay, so this guy that he shot him 5 times. He shot him 1 time and then 4 more times. Okay, is it possible? He didn't even know this guy. This guy had nothing for him. The Arabs were after Rayhan, who had beaten up one of their sisters. He had nothing to do in this. So what? So let's say the first shot was a mistake. Oops, whoa, I killed somebody, whoa. Why did he empty the revolver on this guy? What would make him do something like this?
Undisciplined.
Okay.
Like when you have a gun, you need to empty the clip. So
Yeah. Like when you have a bag of chips and you need to eat everything.
exactly.
Yeah, that happens to me a lot. Okay. So that could be one answer. What about the rest of you? What do you think? Why, after you give the first shot and you see the person on the floor, why pow, 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 pow 4 more times? Why do that? Now, remember, we're talking about Meursault, who was a person who didn't really have much interest in life. He didn't even feel anything when his own mother died. So what could have been going through his head while he's standing there just shooting at this guy?
Maybe
he
okay. Maybe he liked doing it at the first shot. Yeah. So he probably liked it, so he wanted to do it again. So that's why he did it the other 4 times.
Okay. So you're standing there holding a gun over somebody. What would you feel? What sense would you feel? What would it make you feel? It starts with a P.
Power.
Yes. So it gave him a sense of power, like, whoa, I'm in control. I get to do this. Okay. So what happens next? What happens after that is, of course, he's arrested and he's taken to the prison. And then there's this really crazy interview that he goes through where the person in charge is trying to get him to change and to become a Christian. So this guy is standing there with the cross and he's trying to get him to admit something because he says that the only way that Meursault could have done something like that is if he was demon possessed. So he's there with a cross and forcing him to like accept Jesus, be a Christian or something like that. Okay, so what's your opinion about this? Do you think that when you're in a position of authority that you have the right to try to impose your personal religious beliefs on somebody just because you think that what you believe is better than what they believe? What's your opinion about that?
They all cheat.
What?
I get mad when people do those things. Like you're normally doing your own businesses and suddenly, I don't know, the teachers start talking about religious and then your partner start like, yeah, God is in that. I'm like, okay.
And In this particular case, it was the judge. The judge was the one, and he even called him Mr. Antichrist. The judge called him Mr. Antichrist because he wanted him to say that he believed in God. So there's a part here where it says, he cut me off and urged me one last time, drawing himself up to his full height and asking me if I believed in God. I said no, and he sat down indignantly. He said it was impossible. All men believe in God, even those who turn their backs on him. Okay, so I think the belief in God is a very personal belief, okay? And we all got to believe in something. But the problem that I see here is when the judge started getting all offended because Meursault told him that he didn't believe in God. Now, there's a problem there. God is wonderful, and he's here, and he has given us a lot of things, and we're grateful. But we cannot impose our beliefs on other people just because we think we are right. And we see a lot of that happens constantly, especially in religious circles, not only Christians. It happens a lot in different religious circles. I think what I believe is the best, so I'm going to impose it on you, and I'm going to try to make you feel bad because I have the right, I have the truth. Now, this is very dangerous. Who wants to tell me why is it so dangerous for a group of people to start imposing their religious beliefs on another group? Why is it so dangerous?
It's gonna cause a conflict.
It's gonna cause conflicts. Yes. What else? Do you think people have the right to believe whatever they want to believe, or everybody has to believe the same thing? What do you think?
I believe that people can believe what they want to believe. As soon as something good, you can believe what you want.
Okay. As long as it's something good, but then who gets to decide if it's something good or not good? Who decides that?
It's our decision to believe what we want to believe. Because I think that we can force someone to believe something because because they really don't will believe the same thing that you are believing. I don't know if I explain.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. What about the rest of you? Daniel, you're gonna speak. Yeah.
No.
No? It was a mistake? What?
Something like that.
It was a mistake? Oh my goodness. Okay, what about the rest of you? Those of you who haven't spoken and you do know you get a little number every time you participate. What about the rest of you? Is it okay, because I think that I am correct, is it okay that I impose my beliefs on other people? Like tell them, you have to believe this, you have to believe this, or you're gonna burn in hell. What do you think?
I mean, there's not something good as itself or something bad as itself. It's according to what the person believes and what their morals are and their values. Because if I believe that something is good, maybe for that person, that thing is not good. So we have to respect their decisions, and because we can't live others' one life. We are like apart. They have to choose their own decisions.
Yeah. And one of the biggest reasons why there's so much conflict in our world is precisely because somebody's trying to impose their beliefs on other people. We just don't want people to be. I mean, for instance, a few months ago when the whole coronavirus confusion began, and people honestly believed that it was because somebody in China ate a bat without cooking. Now you know that's not really what happened. Social media was so full of people condemning them. Yes, I need to stop eating that. They're nasty. Hey, people can eat whatever they want to eat. Don't give me, I'm not going to eat it. But if you want to eat rat, bat, foot, finger, whatever, you can eat it. But then when we begin judging people like, yeah, you're nasty because you're eating that, then it's unfair. It's unfair. I need to be able to be happy with what I eat and let people eat whatever they want to eat and be okay with that. When I start imposing my beliefs, then I create this kind of friction. I create friction and it leads to intolerance. I remember at that time I was still at my office, and there's a Chinese restaurant close by, and people stopped going to her restaurant before it used to be full. People stopped going to her restaurant, and she told me because people said seguramente no era pollo, era murciélago and stuff like that. That's not right. That's not right. So we can't go, when we go around believing that what we eat or that what we believe is better than other people, we become intolerant. And that's how friction and wars begin. Because this group of people believe that they're right, so they're going to go and shoot you because they're right. Do you have any idea how many wars have started in the name of religion? How many people have been killed in the name of religion? It doesn't make any sense. But this is what happens when we try to impose our beliefs on others. Okay, so bringing it back around, Meursault is not the best person to interview because he's telling them, like, hey, I killed the guy. I shot him 5 times. I'm guilty. The end. Put me in prison. And they're telling him, oh no, there has to be a process and you have to get a lawyer and there has to be a judgment and we have to give you a sentence. And he's like, why? I killed him. It was me. I confessed. Just put me in prison. And then that's when the judge started saying that he was the Antichrist because he didn't show any repentance. Okay, why did Meursault not show any remorse about killing the Arab? Why do you think that happened?
He doesn't care about nothing.
He doesn't care about a single thing. I mean, if the guy didn't really care about his mother's death, why would he care about some Arab he didn't even know, right? And that is what's frustrating the judge and the magistrate and everybody. That's what's really frustrating them. Okay, so we're going to watch a short clip about a person who confessed to a murder. But before we go there, let's talk about this girl. The girl who asked him, do you love me? And he said, I don't know. And do you want to marry me? And he's like, well, whatever. What do you think happens when he goes to prison? Who wants to make a guess, or you read it and you know? What happens when he went to prison? What's her attitude?
I'll guess she was at first like worried about what happened to the man that she loved. And with the time, I hope she noticed she doesn't need him.
Okay. Another person who has a guess. What, based on how she has acted until now, what do you think happened?
I don't know, maybe she murdered a person to be in jail too.
Oh my goodness. So she wants to go to prison too, so she's going to murder somebody. But they wouldn't be in the same.
Yeah.
Okay, one more person. Make a guess. What do you think happens to Marie?
I think that she's gonna be like, oh, it wasn't his fault. And she was still thinking that she loved him.
Okay, so yeah, it gets really, really weird. So she goes to visit him at the prison, and then she sends him a note that I think was merely manipulation. And in the note, she said, like, they're not allowing me to visit you anymore because we're not married. If we were married, I could visit you, but we're not married, so I'm not going to see you anymore. What do you think she was trying to gain with that note?
Make him want to get married in some way.
Exactly. Then do you think he got married?
No.
Okay,
No.
so we're going to watch a short video of a serial killer, a person who just kills and has absolutely no remorse. And let's see if we can find, I want you to do 2 things. While you're watching the video, I want you to observe this guy and see what you sense from him. And secondly, I want you to see if you see any similarities between his attitude and Meursault's I don't care attitude. So tell me, the 2 questions that I asked you, what were the similarities between his attitude and Meursault, and also, what do you sense from him? Who wants to answer? Those of you who haven't spoken, I need to give you a number. Hello? Are you there? Are we still connected?
I'm similar. Oh no.
Okay, people, are you here? Yes.
Adrián está hablando.
¿Quién está hablando? What?
Adrián, sigue hablando.
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, there was a cableonda minute. Okay, so tell me, what are the similarities between this guy and Meursault, and what did you sense from him?
I sense that he's pretty disturbed.
Very disturbed.
Like, he's not okay in the head at all. But he said that he views people as objects, animals. He just sees them like all the same to him.
Mhm.
And he still himself like a similarity is that he doesn't view people as people, but as like everyday object.
Okay. And what did you sense from him while he was talking? What did you feel?
I feel like he didn't have any remorse.
Mm.
I mean, he said it, he didn't have any remorse, but it's probably because, as he said, he doesn't view people or as anything of value.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, he's able to just kill repeatedly without feeling guilty.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what about the rest of you having spoken? Layali and Dayan and Nesim. Nesim is weirdly quiet lately. Natalie.
I think that he sees people as animals. Like he's like the predator and the other people are the victims.
Yes. What are the similarities between him and Meursault, people?
That he didn't feel nothing for kill someone. He's like, yes, I kill him.
Mm-hmm. And at the end, he said that he wanted to die. He wanted them to kill him. So if he wants death, why doesn't he kill himself? Hello?
He wants control.
He wants what? Control. Why doesn't he just kill himself? Nasim, why do you think he doesn't just kill himself? He said he wants to die. He doesn't want them to let him back out on the street. Why doesn't he just kill himself?
I mean, he didn't say that he always just wanted to die, just that he wanted to die now. I mean, dealing with the consequences of his acts may have a worse things that he doesn't really care about lately, but dying is the quickest way to deal with those consequences and will be satisfy most of the people involved in the victims. So I think he will see it as the most immediate way of getting that out of the way. And since he seems to be so dissociated of the idea of humanity, which is the thing that make me laugh when he say that he will see himself as a lion. I think that's why I don't think there's so much of a similarity in the core of Meursault and this criminal, but it is in certain consequences of both of them, mainly on the dissociative relationship that both of them have with the rest of the people. But it's not by the same means, because whereas Meursault seems to just see it as something trivial, but doesn't really go into the mindset of a mass killer. He just get a job. He just mindlessly go through life. That make it. Whereas this criminal don't think in people to have value, Meursault seems to don't see himself as something that has any special value just because it is himself. He probably will see all the people as equally meaningless, including himself. And he is, you will say that it's uh, like an active role into showing that meaninglessness to the other people, or an just a private role into doing so. Meursault is just in his world, and he thinks that way. He believes that thing. He thinks that people have no inherent meaning in their lives. They just pretend to do so, and in doing don't show remorse, not show sadness when he doesn't feel like he actually sad, or have any or feel guilty. He just um, make that thing go out of him. It's just a manifestation of his entire belief, but it just get to that point. That's why I think there was a pause between the first shot and the other four, because he doesn't really actively defend that notion. He just live by it and assume that people just know it, but they think that it's more practical for them to pretend they don't. So he treats this as trivialities, as um, looking always at what is the most cynical way to understand whatever people do, whatever people say they feel, or whatever people say they want to do or want to be in the world. Because for him, they are all just trying to hide the meaninglessness of their own lives in order for them to doesn't fall into some kind of crisis. That's why I think he leave everyone in their space, but he still live in his own beliefs. Whereas this criminal actively try to push other people into that notion, but in a really dumb way, because it doesn't really serve as a philosophical argument to kill someone. But
it does if you don't really have, if you don't believe that death is meaningful.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing that that's why I think I said that the lion thing. I mean, there's a difference of guessing that we are all part of, we are all sustained by certain things that can be interpreted in another way, and completely ignore those things into a mindset that basically makes you something something different, like an animal. And I say to myself that, well, a lion will not understand the bonds between human society. Thereby, it will not be guilt. It will not feel guilty of killing people. But that will be like the whole messed up thing.
Yeah. What I find really interesting, though, and I want somebody to answer this, is, and you touched on it, Nassim, but I want somebody else's perspective. What would be the difference between him getting killed by the state, meaning capital punishment, and him just killing himself? What would be the difference between that? Let's say the court decides, okay, you're gonna die by lethal injection. What's the difference between the state killing him and him killing himself? And I think Rebecca said it's control. But if you just let the state kill you, you lost control. They have control. So what's really going on there? If he thinks he should die, why doesn't he just kill himself? Why wait for somebody to determine the day and hour of your death? Who wants to give that a shot?
I think that it's because by killing other people, he feel like the feeling of control. And somehow, if he kill himself, he will not feel that. And by letting other person do that, he think the other person will feel it. I think that's how he thinks, and that's why he doesn't kill himself, because he can feel that feeling of control.
Okay. So usually when a person commits suicide, the people around him see it as giving up. as an act of being a coward. And he doesn't want to be seen as a coward. He wants to be seen as a lion, and a lion is not a coward. So maybe that's also one of the reasons why, if he wants to become a victim to the state, let the state kill him. Because if he kills himself, people are going to say, "Oh, he's a coward. He didn't want to deal with this, with the consequences of his actions," what somebody mentioned a few minutes ago. Okay, so his definition of death has a lot to do with how he lived his life. Death means nothing to him, so he just goes around killing people, boxes, animals, kicking cars, whatever, it's all the same. Okay, so we're gonna end here. Now, remember, I said that those of you who owe me 1 grade or more, some of you owe a lot of grades, people. What's up with that? What's wrong with you, man? What's wrong? This is what you're gonna do. On August 14th, you're gonna turn in the following assignment. Write this down, because the people who owe grades, you know who you are. I ain't got time to be calling out your name. This is the assignment. You're gonna look on the internet for the 10 most frequently mispronounced words in English. And you're gonna send me a Word document with those words, and you're gonna send me an audio in which you're gonna pronounce each of those 10 words properly. One more time. You're gonna look up on the internet, on Google, the 10 most frequently mispronounced words in English. You're gonna send me 2 files. A Word document with the list of words. Maybe it should be more than 10, probably 20. Yeah, let's do 20, I like 20.
15.
15? Okay, let's do 15. So you're going to send me a Word document with those 15 words written out, and an audio in which you're gonna be pronouncing those 15 words. This has to be turned in by August 14th. You can upload it to the platform or send it to itmustbeenglish@gmail.com. That's gonna take up the space that you have missing, for those of you who have missing spaces. And you know who you are. Lots of you, lots. The last assignment, module 4, make sure you get it to me by tonight or by tomorrow night, okay? So you don't have, more than 2 missing grades. Okay, people. So that's Mary Romero, Eduardo Soto, Daniel Santos, Aranza Coronado, and Natalie Rodriguez, Rebecca Serrano, and Isabela Navarro. You have to do this August 14th thing. The rest of you, if you want to do it to get
Teacher,
extra, yes. Yes, Natalie.
I don't own you nothing.
Yeah, you turn
I have turned in all my...
Okay, I'll go check for it, don't worry. If you gave it to me, it's there. Okay, so those of you who...
Oh, you're this...
Yeah, I think we're having another Caldeonda minute. Okay, so send me an email. Send me an email. If you gave me all your work, it's there, and I'm gonna go check it. If you want extra, if you want like an extra few points, you can do this also. The 15 most frequently mispronounced words in English. Send me a Word document with the 15 words, and then you send me an audio pronouncing each of the words correctly. Okay, bye.